Hey there, movie lovers. Welcome back to Rocky Watches Movies. Today we're diving into the hilarious world of the 1983 comedy Trading Places. This film, with its mix of clever social satire, hilarious performances, and an unforgettable cast, has become a timeless favourite. But how much do you really know about what went on behind the scenes? From surprising casting choices to some hidden details you might have missed, we're about to reveal it all. So put on your Santa suit and let's uncover 20 things you never knew about Trading Places. The idea was inspired by a tennis game. Screenwriter Timothy Harris has said, "I used to play tennis fairly regularly with two brothers, both doctors, and they were incredibly annoying to play with. They were always engaged in a fierce sibling rivalry, arguing about absolutely everything." Inspired by this dynamic, Harris proposed the idea of brothers debating the nature versus nurture argument to his writing partner, Herschel Weingrod. The two then got to work on the concept. Trading Places drew inspiration from classic literary and cinematic sources. The story is loosely based on Mark Twain's The Prince and the Pauper, in which a poor man and a rich man swap lives. However, the film also bears a striking resemblance to the 1935 Three Stooges movie Hoi Polloi, as well as the lesser-known British film Man with a Million, starring Gregory Peck. The character of Billy Ray Valentine is also inspired by Henry Valentine, a character from the Twilight Zone episode A Nice Place to Visit, which shares a similar plot with Trading Places. The film was originally intended to be a Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder vehicle, following the massive success of their previous collaborations, Silver Streak and Stir Crazy. However, Pryor was injured while doing drugs and was unable to take on the role. When Eddie Murphy was considered as a replacement, he pushed for Gene Wilder to be replaced as well, fearing he would be seen as a Richard Pryor imitator. Pryor had been Murphy's #1 comedic inspiration growing up. At the time of casting, Eddie Murphy was still an up-and-coming star. 48 Hours hadn't been released yet, but it had been previewed, and Murphy had performed very well. Landis recalled of his discussion with Paramount Pictures when they asked him what he thought of Eddie Murphy playing the Billy Ray Valentine role, and he replied, "Who's Eddie Murphy?" Ray Milland was initially cast as Mortimer, but he failed to pass the insurance physical. When Landis requested Don Amici, he was told that Amici couldn't be located. The dreadful question was asked, "Did he die?" Landis recalled. Amici was eventually found, but he refused to return to acting until he was paid the same amount Milland had been promised. 2 years after Trading Places, Amici starred in Cocoon and won an Oscar for his performance. Due to his religious upbringing, Golden Age veteran actor Don Amici took issue with a profanity-laced line of dialogue his character Mortimer delivers near the end of the film, as he berates a group of Wall Street traders. Landis said to him that if he can't say it, he won't get the part. Amici eventually agreed to do it, and on the day of shooting made sure everything was perfect for the scene, so he only had to say it once. Luckily, they were able to capture the shot in a single take. When it came to casting, Landis faced some challenges, particularly with the role of Ophelia. Ultimately, the part went to Jamie Lee Curtis, who was best known for her roles in slasher films like Halloween, The Fog, Prom Night, and Terror Train. Landis has said, "What really got me into trouble was Jamie Lee Curtis, because up until that point, she had only done horror films. But Jamie did a fantastic job. She somehow made her character, the hooker with a heart of gold, almost believable." If you're enjoying the video, a subscribe to the channel would be a deal even Billy Ray Valentine would approve of. There are some great improvisational scenes, mostly mistakes or goofs that were kept in the final cut because they were simply too funny. For instance, the bit where Ophelia's accent and outfit don't match on the train, Swedish accent with Austrian-German lederhosen, was improvised as Jamie Lee Curtis couldn't manage the assigned Austrian accent. Luckily, Landis kept it in, allowing Curtis to showcase her comedic chops. It was a great opportunity for her to break out of her Halloween Scream Queen role. G. Gordon Liddy almost agreed to play Clarence Beeks. The role ultimately went to Paul Gleason after Liddy reportedly considered playing Clarence, but withdrew upon discovering that the final scene involved his character being assaulted by a gorilla. In the film, Beeks is shown reading Liddy's autobiography, Will, on the train. Trading Places is a treasure trove of cameos. Bo Diddley makes an appearance as a pawnbroker, Jim Belushi is the gorilla on the train, and a trench coat wearing, briefcase carrying John Landis can be seen standing near Valentine after he's released from jail. Al Franken and Tom Davis appeared as baggage handlers, and a little-known Giancarlo Esposito, now best known for Breaking Bad, had a brief but memorable role as cellmate number 2. Frank Oz's cameo as the police officer checking in Winthorpe's property after his arrest is significant, as Oz also made a cameo in The Blues Brothers as a prison officer who checks Jake Blues and returns his property. And talking of The Blues Brothers, this Easter egg went a bit wrong, I think. Winthorpe's prison number, 747-45058, is supposed to be the same as Jake Blues's, but this was 747-4505B. Maybe the prop guy messed up. Originally, the SCTV characters known as the Mackenzie brothers, played by Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas, were set to appear as the baggage handlers. When their schedule fell through, Dan Aykroyd suggested Franken and Davis as replacements. Moranis and Thomas would go on to star in their own Mackenzie brothers film, Strange Brew, which was released the same year as Trading Places. Initially, during a shoot at the World Trade Center's Commodity Exchange COMEX, real stock traders were set to perform alongside extras, while Aykroyd and Murphy filmed on a weekday during actual trading hours. According to the studio production notes, the presence of the two stars caused such a distraction that $6 billion in trading was halted. As a result, filming was rescheduled to take place over the weekend. Until 2010, using misappropriated government information for commodity markets trading was still not technically illegal. The Eddie Murphy Rule, which banned the practice, was introduced as part of the Wall Street Transparency and Accountability Act of the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act. Both Amici and Bellamy later reprised their roles as the Dukes in hilarious cameo appearances in Coming to America, which was also directed by Landis and starred Eddie Murphy. In that film, the brothers are now homeless, and when they encounter Prince Hakeem, played by Murphy, on the streets, he throws them a large wad of cash. Randolph then says to Mortimer, "Mortimer, we're back." With a budget of around $15 million, the film had worldwide box office earnings of about $120 million. And while the film never claimed the #1 box office ranking because of films like Return of the Jedi, it was 4th overall and spent over 12 weeks among the top 10 highest grossing films. The crew spent 15 days filming exterior shots in Philadelphia, a city chosen by Harris for its connection to the founding of the country, the Constitution, and the ideals of the pursuit of happiness that are central to America's identity. However, the interiors of the Duke and Duke office and other Philadelphia locations were filmed in New York City. On the final day of production, filming wrapped up on a beach in the US Virgin Islands. Following the massive success of the film, a Philadelphia restaurant was named after the two main characters, Louis Winthorpe and Billy Ray Valentine. The eatery Winthorpe and Valentine was located inside the Westin Hotel, but unfortunately it is now permanently closed. Jamie Lee Curtis's sister Kelly also appears in the film. Kelly Curtis plays Muffy, a blonde country club woman and upscale socialite, who attaches herself to Billy Ray after he starts enjoying life-changing financial success. Kelly Curtis went on to accumulate 20 big and small screen credits throughout her career, with her most notable role being a recurring guest star on the 1996 TV series The Sentinel. Trading Places has become a beloved Italian Christmas tradition. Every year on Christmas Eve, Trading Places is broadcast on the local Italia 1 TV channel. And there you have it, folks. You now know a little bit more about Trading Places. If you enjoyed the video, which I presume you did as you got this far, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos coming to Rocky Watches Movies. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.